Let's
Are
go,
you ready
baby.
for rapid fire?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Rapid fire is going to still deal with a lot of recruiting stuff. And of course, as always, if you still have questions, we can try to drop them in if we have time. Let's just start with this real quick. Fill in the blank. It would be blank if Peyton Bowen signs on the dotted line with Notre Dame.
Hilarious. I'm going to go with hilarious because this has been ridiculous the entire way. I've got people at school asking me, hey, did Peyton Bowen sign? Did Peyton Bowen sign? Like, he's not supposed to do anything till noon. And then I saw that he picked Oregon. I was like, oh, okay, fine. Move on. It's fine. And now I get home from Christmas shopping. Yes, I'm still Christmas shopping because there's a blizzard apparently coming. I usually wait longer, by the way, but there's a blizzard coming tomorrow. So I had to go out today. But but anyway, I come home and I hear, well, he hasn't even sent in his letter of intent yet. He might come back to Notre Dame. It's like, dude, make a decision so we can all move on with our lives. That'd be fantastic. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah. You talk about plot twist. I mean, if anybody watched The White Lotus, like everyone, was like guessing the whole season who was going to die. Because we found out in the first episode there was going to be a death. It's like, who's going to die at the, who's going to be the dead one? And then it's like, I'm not going to give away any spoilers for those who haven't seen it, but it wasn't necessarily unexpected to me. That wasn't a plot twist. This is a plot twist to go through all these turns. And it hasn't even been a week since this whole thing came up that it was going to be Oklahoma and Oregon's offering, and they're both coming at him. It hasn't even been a week. And here we are. It's signing day. He does the fake out with the Notre Dame hat and then an Oregon hat. And mom's covering her eyes and everything else. And, I've seen some other comments in there. It's just crazy. That's all it is. It is crazy. And, it sounds like, and I don't want to get I don't know if people are pulling for it or against it at this point, but if Notre Dame wants him, it sounds like they can probably have him at this point. That's the crazy thing.
And it is, again, I said it earlier and I'll say it again, as annoyed as I am by the whole situation, right? If he decides to come to Notre Dame, as the coaching said, you take him. I mean, he's that good of a player. You obviously had a relationship with this kid going back years at this point. You thought he was good enough to come to your school. He was committed to come to your school. If he decides to come to Notre Dame, you take him. And I guarantee you, 99% of the people that are Notre Dame fans, if he comes and he starts at safety as a true freshman and he balls out for 3 years, no one is going to remember the nonsense that just happened on December 21st.
Very true.
It's
Very true.
That's just the way it is.
Everyone's just going to be saying it was worth it.
Yes.
That's what it's going to come down to.
Absolutely.
Matt with a super chat. Stop calling it NIL. It's pay for play, acquisition fee, whatever, but not NIL. I mean.
Okay. I mean,
it's true.
I don't disagree with you at all. I'm actually all for NIL. I have no problem with NIL. I have a problem with
the way it's abuse of NIL.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. The way it's being used for recruiting is ridiculous. It is meant for guys who, like Michael Vincent, for example, right, at Notre Dame.
Yeah,
his nickname is Milk. He got an NIL deal with a milk company, a dairy company, right? Like, that's what it's about. It's a chance for these guys to make a little bit extra money and do some things entrepreneurial-wise.
Doing some endorsements, sign some autographs, whatever it happens to be.
That's what NIL is.
It's not supposed to be about just drop off loads of cash up front.
It's a chance to get a check from EA Sports so you can see your name and face on the video game and they're not being exploited like they used to be, right? That's what NIL is. It is not you get to be an employee and we're going to pay you a signing bonus. That's not what this is supposed to be for. So I'm all for NIL, but not the way it is right now. It's just embarrassing.
Completely agree. So Vince, the godfather of recruiting, Tom Lemming, was on the Irish Breakdown signing show earlier today, as we talked about. He kicked off the show. So I got a few different things that he said on the show that I think are very noteworthy. Fill in the blank. Tom Lemming says, this Irish class could be Notre Dame's best class since 1990, and that's blank.
Impressive. We all get swept away with the guys that have left the class, the high 5 stars, that have left Keon Keeley, obviously, Peyton Bowen, Dante Moore. Dante Moore was a silent commit or whatever, but he left, right? So you got 3 5-star guys, and that's what everybody's gnashing their teeth about. It's a really good class. This is still a really good, well-balanced class. And I think people are forgetting that. And they're going to be reminded of it when these guys start hitting the field. And that's what's exciting. And I trust a lot of things that Tom Lemming has to say because he is the first guy that did this. He was going from, high school to high school around the country and writing the books and, doing all the things that he was doing. If he says it's the best class since 1990, that's saying something because there have been some pretty stinking impressive classes in that span of time.
Do you know who was in the 1990 class?
You're going to tell me.
Let's start with Jerome Bettis, Pro Football Hall of Fame.
The bus.
How about Bryant Young, Pro Football Hall of Fame? 14 guys from that class ended up playing in the NFL. Aaron Taylor, Jeff Burris, Lake Dawson, Jim Flanagan. You had, of course, Kevin McDougal, the quarterback, and on and on and on. Pete Bursich, Tim Ruddy, all these different guys. By the way, LaShane Sadler. Do you know who that is?
Nope.
LaShane Sadler is the father of someone you and I know very well.
No way.
Kalen Sadler, soccer coach, one of Jesse's best friends from high school. LaShane is Kalen's dad. He was in the 1990 class.
How did I not know he went to Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
mind blown.
This is what Tom Lemming, though, is comparing this class to. Again, like right now on the surface, you don't have a Keon Keeley or a Peyton Bowen, to kind of put a nice, shiny bow on this thing. But there's a lot of talent in this class. And again, it comes out to, in terms of percentage of 4 and 5-star guys in this class, they're all 4s, obviously, but 83% of this class. It's the most in it's basically since Brian Kelly took over. His best class had 82%, the 2013 class with Jalen Smith in it. So, and again, you stack that on top of an 81% that they had last year. There's a ton of talent coming in. There's a lot of talent on this class. Don't write it off just because maybe, and it's still a big maybe at this point, maybe you lost out on Peyton Bowen. But like when you hear Tom Lemming say something like that, I mean, it's pretty amazing when you think about it.
It is.
It's kind of exciting, really, is what it is.
I'm super excited for spring ball. I'll be honest with you. I mean, we haven't even hit Christmas, and I'm excited for spring ball. This is, again, stacking class after class, and the 24 class is already shaping up to be pretty stinking good, too. So you're going to stack 3 classes in a row of just some dudes, and that's exciting, man. I don't care who you are, and you can legitimately so be upset that they lost the guys that they lost. Legitimately so. I get it. But you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater because there's an awful lot of talent here in this class and some guys that are true Notre Dame men who want to be at Notre Dame and are going to be really, really good players at Notre Dame. So you can't forget about these guys. They're so good.
It's also this class is the first time in Notre Dame history that the team signed top 300 players at every position in this group.
There you go.
So, again, it's pretty amazing. So again, it's like, you and I have not been like, oh, let's get wound up about recruiting type guys.
No,
it's pretty exciting looking at these guys that they're going to have coming in here. All right. Another Tom Lemming comment from the Irish Breakdown signing day show earlier today. Fill in the blank. Tom Lemming says Marcus Freeman is a younger version of Urban Meyer or Nick Saban. And that's blank.
That's awesome because those two know how to recruit. Like those two know how to stack class after class after class. They know how to get into a living room. They know how to talk to parents. They know how to recruit to what they want to do. And, all signs point to Marcus Freeman being that guy. And so far, he's been the head coach for about 1.5 classes, right? You could give him some credit for last year, obviously, because a lot of those guys that made the class what it is were on the defensive side of the football, and he was the defensive coordinator. So I'm going to give him a lot of credit for that. But this class is his. This is his class. The 24 class, his class. These classes are awesome, right? And they're only getting better. Like each class gets better than the last one. Again, college football is all about building and stacking classes of recruits, and he's going to continue to do that. That's exciting.
Marcus Freeman is like almost half of Nick Saban's age, right? He's still only 36 years old. Obviously, Urban Meyer, not quite as old as Saban, but Marcus Freeman's considerably younger than Urban Meyer as well. Nick Saban has 7 national championships last time I checked. Meyer has 3 himself between Florida and Ohio State. And so, again, for someone like with the perspective of Tom Lemming, who's been doing this for a long time and knows in detail the way both of those guys were able to get into living rooms, connect, recruit, get big time talent to their programs. And for Tom Lemming to be comparing Marcus Freeman to that, it obviously says a lot. But again, when you look at what's already been signed in these last 2 classes and what's going to continue to happen, that's like you talk about, you want to compete for national championships. And I saw this question earlier from Brent: in this day and age of NIL, how does Notre Dame recruit a number 1 class? I mean, it would be nice to say you've got a number 1 class. And I think you might have said it earlier, Vince, like with NIL, it's spreading these guys out to different programs. Like it could indirectly, even if Notre Dame is not going to, go all in, with bags of cash like Oregon or Oklahoma or whoever, the fact that these programs are willing to do that and spread, some of these guys out, it could actually indirectly help them get a class like that. The way Marcus Freeman is still going to be able to recruit in quality and quantity across the board.
Well, and I'm still not convinced that all of this NIL stuff and bringing these pay-for-play kids in without having solid relationships with these kids in the first place.
Yeah, because when things go wrong, first sign. Yeah.
I'm still not convinced that that's the way to build a championship football team. The first team that we saw do it was Texas A&M. There's a boatload of guys in the transfer portal already. Mm-hmm. So Oregon is now picking up the mantle of NIL. Let's see what happens.
If the relationship is built on transactions, you're setting yourself up for the wrong thing. It can't be about that. There has to be something deeper to it. And that's what Marcus Freeman has been all about and wants his staff to be, as recruiters all about, is the connection, something real, not something transactional.
That's why mail order brides don't work, Sean. Okay.
Yes, that's right. And I tell you what, I don't know if you watch 90 Day Fiance, but that is like a very popular show in my household with 2 women here. And I see it every time. The mail order thing, it does not work because it's, one is trying to get the green card, the other is trying to get them here, and there's just drama. There's just drama. That's all it is.
And that's what happens when you don't build a relationship based on, trust and communication and all of that. I feel like we're Dr. Phil, but like that's what happens, and that's
you should write a love song, Vince. That's.
But that's why I like to follow Notre Dame, because they're going to do it the right way. And I'm still convinced. Look, maybe Notre Dame never has a number 1 class. Maybe they don't. But watch who these number 1 classes are and see if they stick together. Just see.
Yeah, good point. All right. We're coming up to a good one now. Okay. Fill in the blank. Tom Lemming saying Brian Kelly would rather golf than recruit. It's blank.
It's 100% accurate. We've seen it in person. We've seen it. It's 100% accurate. Oh my goodness gracious. I don't know how Notre Dame ends up with all the guys that want to golf instead of recruit, but they did with, our buddy Ty and Brian. And, how does that happen? But look, there's no doubt that that's true. I don't know where LSU's class ended up. I saw somebody
ended up pretty good.
I did see that one of LSU's commits also went to Oregon today, which I thought was pretty funny. It's like, well, now you know how it feels.
They didn't get Christian Gray though.
So. No, they didn't. No, that's a very good point.
Baton Rouge.
So yep. I think it's hilarious, and especially the fact that Tom Lemming would say that, frankly, because he has boots on the ground. He sees how this stuff operates. He talks to kids and finds out how much the head coach is actually doing. And they're telling him this. I mean, I've never heard from Brian Kelly before. Like, I don't know.
Look, Cam, LSU has a better ranked class than Notre Dame. Okay. But what did Brian Kelly say on the way out? It's easier to recruit down there. That's
the point.
He doesn't actually have to do any work down there. That doesn't make him a good recruiter. It just means he's in a better talent bed. And, they brought in some transfer portal defensive linemen, I think I saw, so, okay, great. He's got a recruiting class. I mean, Les Miles and Ed Orgeron could recruit down there too. So, and I said that from the beginning, like if Brian Kelly's sitting up here and doing what he's doing at Notre Dame and he's looking at those two knuckleheads winning national championships down there, no offense, Ed, seem like a good guy. You're coming, hanging around Notre Dame quite a bit these days, but I just, I know that Brian Kelly is like in our height range, so he's easy to dunk on anyway, but it was just hilarious hearing this live. Tom Lemming just right out of the blue, without any prompting, that just came right out of his mouth. Brian Kelly would rather play golf than recruit.
Yeah, I mean, and as far as recruiting rankings are concerned, I don't give a whole lot of.
Oh, save that because we're coming up to stars. The last comment from Tom Lemming today. He's the one who created the star system, and Tom Lemming said the recruiting star system is bogus because it's more about offers a player gets than actual talent. What do you think?
100%. I mean, 100%. And it's also not about just the offers that they get, but it's about the camps that they go to and all of these different things. Because if they go to Under Armour camps, they're going to get better rated. If they go to, all the 247 camps, they're going to get better rated. All of these different things is what raises your star ranking. And we have seen it. And Brian and Ryan have talked about this ad nauseum. When a kid commits to Notre Dame, they generally fall in the rankings because there were multiple guys that were 5-star guys when they were committed to Notre Dame, and now they're not.
Yeah.
And
just like Tyler's talking about, Brennan Vernon, who we were talking about earlier.
Charles Jagasaw should be a 5-star. Brennan Vernon should be a 5-star. There's guys in this class that should be 5 stars. LSU has 1 5-star and 18 4-stars, and they're 3 spots ahead of Notre Dame. Notre Dame's got 0 5-stars, but 20 4-stars, and they're behind. So you're telling me one guy makes 3? It's stupid. It's dumb. I'm sorry. It doesn't make any sense to me. I look at a recruiting class the exact way Brian and Ryan look at a recruiting class. Did you fill the needs that you had? Can you put this group on the field together and create a team? Notre Dame can. They got 5 offensive linemen. They got 4 defensive linemen. They got 3 linebackers. They got 4 wide receivers. They got a tight end. Like, they have done what they need to do to make their team better. That's all I care about.
Yeah. Tyler, I've wondered about Drake Bowen myself. Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, when you watch this guy he's the National Butkus Award winner.
Mr. Indiana, or football, Mr. Football in Indiana.
Yeah. Which is also something apparently along with Dick Butkus that Tom Lemming participates in. Is it's a small group. They look at film of all these guys and they go back and forth, and Tom Lemming is part of that process as well. And they gave that to Drake Bowen. So
right.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. And it's a matter of who you're getting your offers from, and you're right, like who you ultimately sign with, all these different factors. And part of this as well is generally you don't see these recruits picked apart. Like, it's not like the NFL draft where guys get to the diaper or the underwear Olympics, at the combine
right.
and they're running their 40s, and then all of a sudden, like they've been built up their whole time in college, and now they get into the draft process and draft analysts start picking them apart. That doesn't happen in the college recruiting circuit because everyone wants to have relationships with the coaches and the parents and the kids and the whole thing, and they don't want to say anything critical of anybody. Right. So it's all just adulation and build up, and then once the offers start coming, and then now Now it's a Tennessee offer. Well, the Tennessee offer turns into an Alabama offer, or the Notre Dame offer turns into an Alabama offer, like in the Keon Keeley case, all these different things. And it all changes stock based on how many offers, where the offers are coming from, and everything else, because nobody's saying bad about it,
Right.
anything bad about anybody.
Well, and Drake Bowen specifically, he committed to Notre Dame so early in the process that recruiting services didn't care, and most colleges weren't trying to recruit him because they knew he was so solid in Notre Dame. I don't know if anybody remembers the video.
And so ultimately, he didn't get many other
those offers,
which keeps his star down.
Exactly. Yeah. Does anybody remember the video of his basement? At his house, like it is Notre Dame everywhere. He's like his family is diehard Notre Dame. He recruited he committed as soon as he got the offer. Like there was no chance that anybody was going to change his mind. So schools are going to back off. They're not going to offer them, So that's why it's nonsense.
As soon as you said basement, for some reason, the first thing I thought of was Quentin Nelson's video with. Do you remember that when he had the leather vest and it was like kind of a cross between Village People and Tom Cruise, Top Gun or something with the whole. It was something. You need to Google that.
Yes, I do.
I want to say it was his commitment.
Okay.
Video. Quentin Nelson. It was something. I mean, turned out to be true. But I think we had. Let me see. Well, go ahead. We got one more thing after this. We'll do a refresher on Peyton Bowen since, again, we've got a lot of people coming and going, no, Peyton Bowen has not signed his letter of intent, and there is apparently a chance that he could end up at Notre Dame after all. We'll see where it plays out, but as of right now, there's still a chance.
We shall see.
So this last one, Franco Harris, Pittsburgh Steelers great, died just 2 days before the 50th anniversary of his immaculate reception. That's blank, Vince.
It was very surprising to me today. That was not, obviously you never look for news of somebody passing away, but it wasn't even on my radar that was even a possibility, to be honest with you. I didn't realize, I guess maybe he was sick. I didn't see what he actually passed away from.
I haven't heard either.
But I was very surprised by that because it doesn't strike me as somebody that is old enough to be passing away. You know what I mean? Like, not that I was alive for the Immaculate Reception, obviously, but it doesn't seem like it was that long ago either. You know what I mean? So it was very surprising to me. It kind of took a step back. I was like, oh, wow, Franco Harris, really?
Well, and it's especially sad that it is just 2 days away from the anniversary. It's sad that he died, obviously, to begin with.
Sure.
2 days away from the 50th anniversary, and they're going to retire his jersey on the 50th. You've got the Raiders and the Steelers are going to play Saturday, the 50th anniversary weekend. It's cool that the NFL set it up that way, that they were going to play on the 50th anniversary of this thing. He was going to have his, jersey retired. He's Franco freaking Harris. Why didn't he have his jersey retired already? As a Dallas Cowboys fan who grew up in the 70s, getting my heart broken by that team, I've got so much respect. Like, I could not stand Franco Harris back then. It's like, your name is Franco. Yeah. And it's like, whose name is Franco? And you're like, he scored a touchdown in all 4 Super Bowls the Steelers were in the 70s. And of course, that meant 2 against the Dallas Cowboys as well. But I've got like so much respect for him. As I've grown older, him, Terry Bradshaw, Lynn Swan,
sure.
Jones, go on and on. Jack Lambert, Mean Joe Green, the whole crew. It's like every member of that team, who was like on the Franco Harris level, and he's a Pro Football Hall of Famer, obviously, they should have had their jerseys retired 5 minutes after they retired. It shouldn't be like 50 years after the Immaculate Reception. So it stinks that it wasn't retired to begin with, but just such a great player. And again, like, the reason I have the respect for him is because, like, they get away from the field and you saw what kind of people they were afterwards. And they all seemed like they were all, like really quality people. And, to be one of the really teams that was emblematic of the NFL in the 70s, it was like Pittsburgh Steelers, Oakland Raiders, Dallas Cowboys. And like, he was He was part of that. He's one of the all-time greats, and it's just so sad, to see this, especially again this close to when he was going to get an honor like that in the 50th anniversary of a play that we have seen replayed over and over again. It's arguably the most famous play in NFL history, maybe in football history.
No doubt.
Reception.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, had a great one tonight. Vince has got to get going. He's got some day job duties that he's got to attend to.
Yep.
Appreciate Ryan for coming in. Like Ryan said, maybe he'll pop in tomorrow if we need him to as well. If
nice.
This whole
you never know
Bowen saga continues. So
good
that's
grief.
Right. Well, thanks to everybody for showing up tonight. We appreciate you. It's been a very eventful day.
It's been a day.
Yes, that's right. We'll see where we sit tomorrow. Hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe, rate, and review. We will talk to you tomorrow. I think the whiteboard is coming back tomorrow for whiteboard fans.
Nice.
So be here. We're going to talk a little Notre Dame offense as we gear up. Gator Bowl's only a little more than a week away. So we'll talk a little bit about that tomorrow.
That's mind-blowing. Like, I can't even get past the fact that I still have school tomorrow and the Gator Bowl is right around the corner. Like, that doesn't even compute in my brain.
If you're lucky, they'll just cancel it and keep everybody home with all the snow that's supposed to come.
A guy can dream. They'll probably have me out driving a bus.
All right. We will talk to you tomorrow. Thanks again. IB Nation Sports Talk.